On this episode, we talk about headlines, self-awareness, and why your dad showed up on Instagram. You ask questions, and I answer them. This is the Ask Gary V Show. Hey everybody, this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is episode 102 of the Ask Gary V Show. So last night was a long night. I got some 4 dinners and an after party business networking. Got home at 4:15 in the morning, so a little bit more tired than normal. Happy Memorial Day, everybody in the US, and happy weekend to everybody outside the US. India, let's get into the show. I love that part for some reason. It's like my favorite part of the show. It's like literally, it's gonna eventually be like, oh, I'm gonna just start coming up with different.
D-Rock said I should do something weird today, but
D-Rock, stop trying to like force the show. You're such a f***ing overproducer. All right, India, let's get into the show.
Lyndon wants to know, what kind of headlines attract you on social media?
Lyndon, this is a great question. I think the interesting part about this question is I think a lot of different headlines attract me, and I think the headline copy reading called the BuzzFeed-ification of media is fully in play now. I mean, when you go look with a cynical, it'd be fun to ask Steve this question. It probably hurts your, actually not, that's not true. I'm curious what your take is on the fact that like the New York Times now does this, right? Like literally the whole world has gone slang and 5 ways to do this. Like it's all headline copy, marketing. It's the stuff I built Wine Library on email marketing headlines. It's just become the game. I'm not quite sure exactly what's grabbing my attention. Usually it's around the subject matter. So usually things that scare me, like Jets running backs in trouble. Oh no, I'm not sure, but the reason I wanted to answer the question is because I think it's very important for everybody who's watching the show. I know a lot of people here are go-getters, entrepreneurs, and do-gooders, whether you're trying to raise money for your charity or whether you're trying to sell a boot for the winter. You need to really think about the copy on everything you put out. It is an absolute variable to success. You can follow all the structural advice that I'm giving you, but when you get to writing the copy on a Facebook dark post or a Pinterest post or on Twitter, if you're not good at that, if you're not good at grabbing someone's attention, you're in big trouble. And so I'm not sure what's grabbing my attention, but I know that the person behind writing it is doing a good job. That's how you answer the question without answering the question by bringing value to your audience, not by dodging, Steve.
What if I dodge?
No, your laugh was like, nah. All right, let's go.
Bruce asks, why is Twitter so much like a wall in a public bathroom?
Bruce, this is a tremendous question. I think I would argue that it's not. I would argue that secret was more like a public bathroom because you don't know who wrote it. And I think that what's scarier probably by your rant is that people are actually putting their faces behind these comments that you think are so lame or interesting or aggressive or however you're positioning it. So I would argue that they're not. I think that Twitter's much more like, a cocktail party where people are just making statements or a gathering of friends or, less of the bathroom stall. To me, that's secret and all the other anonymous, yik yak and all the other anonymous plays. That's more the psychology. You write something that nobody can attribute to you. Bathroom business jargon.
from tagline.
People say in business and bathroom. It's gonna be one of the great black and white episodes of the Ask Gary V Show. You guys are loving this, right? All right.
Tagline Tom wants to know, what are some easy ways to become more self-aware?
Tagline Tom, I think there's one hack for becoming more self-aware, which is asking people around you and creating a safe zone, a permission for them to actually tell you about you from their perspective, and it's on you to create that safe place so that they actually tell you things that you may not want to hear, because what I think could happen is that you get chipped away at, and I think that ultimately if you hear enough people say that you're too kind or too aggressive or full of shit or whatever it is, that eventually, you know, I gotta stop cursing because all the Facebook posts now you guys need to beep. That's extra work for you guys. I like how you guys work. You know, I think that that's the one place. That's the only hack I know. I don't think there's any other move. I think it's about getting people to tell you about yourself in safe environments, be aggressive about that, really seek out that feedback, and then be man enough, woman enough to eat it. Really. And the way you get more of it is when a friend of you says, I think you're a little full of crap. You know, you don't end that relationship, you triple down on that relationship because they're giving it to you. And that's, if you really want self-awareness, you need to wildly, if you want to hack self-awareness, I actually think it's predicated on having thick skin. I think that is why, I really think so much of what I pull off is predicated on how thick my skin is. My skin is thick. You know, I just can handle it. I just can. I hate it. I hate it. I hate like reading like, you know, bad stuff about me. It's devastating, but I respect it. I can accept it. I understand it. And I try to use it as something that I go on the offense with going forward. And so they're learning moments. And so, you know, if you can get over yourself, right? If, you know, and the funny thing is, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm so self-aware, I'm not sure if, I think, but you know, even people that I think are not self-aware around me, it's funny to me how self-aware they really are. It's just, you don't let your brain accept your shortcomings. The self-awareness video. This would be a good time to click it up. If you haven't seen this is some of the best work. Who is this? This was D-Rock or Stefan? Stefan, this is great. This was great. This was great. Show him. This was great. Show him. Show him. Great. Watch the video. Link it up and like show a little still. Like, you know what? D-Rock, edit in like a little, I want 13 seconds of it. Your choice, go. This is a word that is rarely talked about in our space that I want to start building more attention for. Self-awareness. I want to deliver on this message so much. I would create a test or a drug that allowed people to become self-aware. One potion inject, not hustle, not smart, self-awareness. I don't fear being self-aware. All right, let's keep going.
Stephanie asks, like, why is my dad following me on Instagram? Like, no, that's unacceptable.
Stephanie, I have bad news. Every social network that you go to try to get away from Pops, when they hit scale, Pops is gonna show up. Hey Stephanie, it's your dad. This knick-knack thing is real cool. That's what's gonna always happen for the rest of your life. And by the way, let me get a little bit deeper on that. Steve, you were about to say something.
I was just gonna say, no, it's something for the end of the show. Hold it.
Do
to the
it.
end of the show.
Do it. Ruin the end of the show.
We're on Spotify.
What do you mean?
Excited? I'm excited. We're on Spotify. The Ask Gary Vee show.
It's on Spotify?
I sent you 4 emails yesterday.
Guess it was a busy day. That is cool.
Yeah,
We're on,
sorry.
see, it was a black and white announcement. This is a black and white announcement. We're on Spotify. This was not a color announcement. This was a black and white announcement. We're on Spotify.
Dad's on Spotify too.
And Stephanie, going back to you and the entire Vayner Nation, soon you'll be a part of it, Stephanie. Yes, you will. You know, I know it was weird that creep Alex hit you up that somebody answered your question on Twitter randomly. I love this whole thing. Making Alex the creepy guy is so fun for me. Look, that's what just happens, right? It happened with Facebook. It's happening right now with Instagram. The youth establishes these new kind of community centers for our society, and then everybody follows. That's a very interesting dynamic because I think that's the reverse of the way human nature has been for a very long time. And so I think that the youth culture of our society is now establishing the main community centers, not the hot new club. That's different. This is the out and out community centers of our society is going to have very massive long-term effects on us as humans. I think that's why we're living through a youthification that I talk a lot about, and so that's why it's happening. Stephanie.
Johannes asks, how do you balance speed, hustle, and patience?
Johannes is such a great name. I really like that. It's like Johan and Pocahontas. What? No, seriously. Johan.
I wasn't thinking that.
You weren't thinking that? That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that Johan Santana was dating Pocahontas, and they were known as a couple as Johantas.
That's actually cool.
Johan Santana is a real baseball player, lefty, and Pocahontas is obviously Pocahontas. Okay, let's go into it. Obviously. This is Johan. I got it, Johannes. Right? This is the best question because the truth is, I really believe that I'm a bridge, right? I'm pulling equally, very aggressively from both sides. That I'm a human contradiction. That if you really watch the show and it throws people off as they get deeper into my content, that oftentimes I'm saying things that contradict themselves because the truth is they both live in real life at the same time. And it's about finding that cadence and balance to guide through. I am massively, at a global level, patient. But on a practical level and an execution level, I'm very fast, right? So it really is religion and church, right? Like at the highest, like at the theoretical, at the gray levels, I'm patient, long game. I'm aware that as long as I'm alive, I'm playing the businessman game, and it doesn't end tomorrow, and if it ends tomorrow, I don't know the outcome anyway because I'm dead, right? And so, but in real life, I understand it's a race, and the speed is a variable for success to me in a big way, hustle, and so the patience and speed are very much rubbing against each other, but it's like the diamond comes from that, right? Like, and so that's the thing that I think about. I find it very easy to do both. You have to understand, there's people that are both in practical and philosophical terms, and they have different outcomes. AKA, there's people that philosophically are not patient, they're impatient, and they're fast. And they look like the bad version of what I am, right? They're like hustlers, and they're like doing everything for themselves, and they're not patient. They don't care about the long game, and they're just gonna take, and they're just gonna take, and take, and take, and they're gonna take fast. And they're gonna gather, and I think that society, the game rewards them, and there's a lot of millionaires and billionaires that didn't do it the right way, and that's what I think they look like. Then, there's a lot of people that are massively patient and slow. And those are the enormous amount of people that, you know, in a business context, not in life, they're probably some of the loveliest human beings that have ever been made because they're slow, and they're patient, and everything's just lovely, and let's just like sit on the porch and, you know, drink peach tea for the rest of our lives and like go slow. Just go real slow. Like let's sit and look at stuff. Like let's sit on the porch and look. Like look at stuff. Like a car just drove by. Great. Like I mean like that, you know, is not interesting to me either. And so that exists. So I actually think what I do exists a lot. I think it's the likable, you know, aggressive person, and that's, you know, they're out there, and there's a lot of winners that are good people. I really think that, and I think if you look at my analogies, the speed part is really valuable, right? Like if you're speedy and selfish and impatient, you know, I think the other thing about the lack of patience and fast, you don't have to be a bad person. I think it leads to mistakes, right? That's another variable layer here. You know, it's funny that my brain went that first narrative. Here's a second narrative. You're going fast, you're not patient, so you rush the outcome and you leave money on the table. You sold the company too soon. You weren't as profitable as you could have been because you missed things because you didn't see it because you weren't tactful. And so, you know, I think it has essence of strategy. You know, somebody once said to me about Vayner, Gary, you guys are so interesting. He was trying to zing me a little bit that we weren't strategic enough. He said, you're so interesting, but he's like, when you get into the house, I feel like a lot of times you guys just run through the glass window instead of opening the door. Like, it was a funny analogy. And then I looked at him and said, yeah, but we're gonna own all the homes. I guess that's a good way to end it. Cool. Question of the day. What are you, India, you get to ask the question of the day. I know, you knew it was gonna happen.
I don't really know what I want to know. What are your Memorial Day weekend plans? You're gonna hate it. You hate it.
It's almost weirdly the thing I was gonna do.
What, really?
Yeah. You keep asking questions. India will keep telling me to answer them. Let's do it. And we could maybe turn this. Yeah.
Because you said you wanted to make a video too.
Cool. So let's do it.
You can't have nice things.